family. Good to see everybody. Please grab your cards, grab your Bible, whatever you want. However you'd like to receive a message from Source or your Father, this is how we do it. And if you think pulling a card is a little weird, you better push stop right now. It's just going to get weirder. Oh, trust me on that. This is how we do it. Whatever you want a message from, we like to hold it at heart center. We like to close our eyes, open our crowns, and connect with Father and all of the higher beings, our higher selves. We're going to ask now at this time that we pull the perfect card for what we need to see after the class to be able to summarize all your new learnings and what you're about to learn here today. All right, open your eyes, shuffle your cards, pull your card, and put it aside, please. Don't look at the words, look at the picture. And this is one thing you got to know about cards. We always go to the words. Go to the picture first, go to the colors first. This is where we need to start getting our feels. When I look at this, there's a young man on a unicorn with big ass wings. That's what you are going to learn about today. Who helps you build your wings? Family, this one is stacked. This came in 24 hours. This one had an emotional response for me. And the reason I felt such a release in bringing in this information was because I knew how many people it was going to help. I knew how much clarity it was going to bring. And when we get clear on where we are, where we're going, and how to get there, we can make a lot of progress, family. And that's what this is about. And so with that, we're going to jump right into this. We got an absolutely stacked course here. So just one moment while I get my screen ready. Do you see it? Slides are up. Okay, excellent. So welcome to the power of we and me. This is part 2. This is building on the power of we. And like we said, a lot of this information is coming in hot and fast. I was thinking we were going to do our next course Monday, Tuesday, and Spirit has had me up the last 2 days bright and early. Just because the information is coming in, I'm like, oh, that's such a good point. Oh, okay, make sure I remember that. And it was just so much I had to get up and start writing and documenting it. So this is what Spirit wants to talk about. And we, be clear, speak on behalf of Spirit. This is what divergence represents, is being able to bring in information that was once forgotten. And the closer we get to the garden, the more we understand what's being asked and required of us. So this is why we got to talk about the old 4D versus the new 4D and our discoveries of them. We're going to talk about 3D DEADLAND. Here's an upgrade. Why don't you start looking at 3D as dead land? Then we've got the 3.5 to the 3.75 WasteLand. So guess what that means? If you're between 3 and 3.5, you're in 3D. Then we've got 4D GraceLand. Woo! Thank goodness for that. GraceLand's where we put it all together. We're going to talk light codes. I know we talked about that a couple days ago. This is going to give you a whole new layering to this. We're going to talk about the angels and their role in your 4D ascension. We're going to talk about Ascension's Destination. This is a big one And this was the most impactful new knowledge that came in for myself. I've never heard of this before. And as I was bringing it in, I just had tears just streaming down my face. I couldn't even stop them. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is where we're going. Ascension's destination is, what is 5D? Where is it? Where's the garden? Where are we going? You're going to see. And then we're going to get into the power of me and a meditation. So here we go. Old 4D versus new 4D. So we talked about this last class. Not a lot of people talk about 4D. And why do you think that is? Because no one knew what it was. We've been volunteering to be dead things. So we're starting to realize, wow, we thought us healers, we were in 5D. We are nowhere close, especially if you're a person. So I'll tell you, I'm going to be speaking a lot more to my visions because I couldn't speak about it too much before, but now this information is ready to come in. So when I tapped into 4D before, because we've been working on 4D for over a year now, family, trying to map this realm. And every time I tapped in, it was dark. It was an absolute nightmare. There was storms everywhere. It felt heavy, scary, but we knew we had to go through it to get to 5D. You can't, that's why it's not a ladder. It's a bridge. We got to go through before we can go up. There's no way around this, family. And that's why Dïevergence has been mapping 4D. We've been sending in our queens. These brave women. And we gave them various 4D assignments and missions, and they had to come back and give a feels report. The purpose was this, to come back. Okay, what'd you find out? Where did you go? What shouldn't we do? So we could start putting pieces and revealing this realm we had no idea about. So here's what we found out. You get a sneak peek at a map that you've never seen before. And here's the first thing. We could calm storms in 4D by exercising tools such as breathwork, grounding, and meditation. So when we first went into 4D, there was just sand flying around. You couldn't see even your hand in front of your face. So the first thing we had to do going into 4D is we had to ground. We had to connect. We had to breathe. And as we did, the storm cleared around us. We could start to see. And the more grounded and connected, the further we could see. But again, it was filtered, but at least we had a chance. Because there was no application, no application of these spiritual tools, loved ones. Our queens were coming back with muddy results. They had little to no substance and lacked any kind of real depth or sight to the 4D map. This is why we had to start hitting hard and put out those courses going, okay, we got to breathe. Mind your mind, mind your words. Stay in your own lane. Make sure you're, I got goosies. Make sure you're doing your connecting. Getting rid of energy that's not yours and calling back your energy. You go in muddy, you come out dirty still. 4D is no place to go in undialed. Then we found out that when we entered 4D with clear intentions, we could navigate to certain specific parts of the map. And then we could avoid certain pitfalls. That's a whole sister case. Just be careful. There's a bend here, but then there's a snake pit right around it. Whew, wow. I usually don't get activated this much, but I'm telling you, spirit's in the house. So feel this. So like we said, as we began to clear the space, we began to see more. So when we sent in queens, we could expose a whole area. Okay, go here, do this, and don't do that. I mean, do it if you want. This is going to be a little rough. There's no rules on spirituality. And we were actually, I was actually showing this before I even met Darren. And I didn't know they were bridges, but I knew The power of little U's. And then Spirit was now guiding us on how to interact with them. There's so much teaching out there on let it go, let it go. How? There's lots of courses out there. There is little U teachings. We're not the first one. We know this. But why didn't they stick? Why did we find ourselves back to where we were, if not further behind? Why? You're going to find out. Because the little U's are the key and the bridges to 5D. And we have to show them the respect that they deserve of the role that they play. And then approximately about 2 weeks ago, Spirit took me, and this is what happens. I get a vision, and they took me to a wasteland. That's what I was calling it that to the family when I was explaining it. I'm like, I was in a desert. And we know this desert now to be GraceLand. And there were no storms in this GraceLand. There were only storms in WasteLand. That was the world between the worlds. That's where they blended. I could see the sun shining, and then I could see a few people scattered scarcely throughout. But they weren't moving. They were just standing there. And they were just slightly dazed. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the vision, but I want to share this with you first of all. I want to talk to you about why 4D was undiscovered up until this point, or very little of it did we have information on. Because any one of our explorers, our spiritually ascending ones that were going in and trying to navigate in this world that we had no information on, was going in blind. They didn't know the spiritual tools that had to be maintained to exercise their strength there. And the storms there, they didn't allow us to see any snakes or pits until it was too late. That makes it really scary. When you're walking blind into a space and area you don't know, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a snake pit, it's once bitten, twice shy. It makes you kind of avoid even just going back there again. Never mind if you get a bitch slap right back to 3D. And when triggers and inner storms flared, which were meant to test you in 4D, many would slip back into the wasteland. And like I just said, before they even knew it, they were actually further back than when they started. It was daunting, it was defeating, depressing. And here's the other thing why no one knows about 4D. Because most ascending have no idea about equity. If you go in unarmed with it, without equity, good luck. It's not going to happen. And look, number 6, warning. If you were advancing too much or too quickly in 4D, Satan would ensure to engage extra snakes, extra vampires, vortexes, to make sure you won't be back in for a while. He'll smack you. And if you don't got skills, you will be smacked. You're going to get schooled in his world. And so while pursuing 4D, Satan will also, please note, family, he is going to recruit and trigger the storms within your spouses, your family members, your friends, relationships, people at work, to distract you, to diminish and extinguish any light that you found in 4D. Oh. This is why the self-help courses, they don't last long. This is why they don't stick, because we're too busy trying to keep our balance on Satan's water or wasteland slip and slide. Look at that. Between 3.5 and 4D, it's a slip and slide. You got to have spikes at the bottom of your feet to stay grounded and to make sure you imprint your intent. So let's get back to the vision I had. So they took me to one of these people that were standing in the desert. And again, they had no storms, but they weren't moving. And an angel walked up next to them. And I could see their big, beautiful wings. And all of a sudden they zoned in right by the person's foot. And where his wing, the angel's wing, was gliding against the desert. And the momentum of that just stirred up the tiniest of dust. And I watched this loved one twitch and look down, engage the stirring. And he reached this being, the person reached down, grabbed as much of the dust disruption and brought it to their heart. And Spirit said, this is what happens. You're getting distracted by appealing to your tiny storms. You are engaging them, they said. You're choosing to breathe life into them and then internalize them. This is why they brought it to heart center, because you're choosing to own it, to wear it, to be it, to make it your own. So this all goes back to your triggers. What are you going to choose to attach to? And anytime you get triggered, pissed off, angry, irritated, annoyed, name it in that category. It's a little you saying, this is reminding me of something that happened to me when I was younger that I didn't like and it hurt me. Hear that. A trigger, that's what it is. It's a little you going, I need you to come back and set the record straight because something happened that's reminding me of this. Something you haven't gone and dealt with, something you just put blinders on. This is why the little yous are so important. They are your disruptors, your instigators. They are at your helm, driving your show. You might think you're the one in control, your little yous. If you still get pissed off, you get mad, your little you is driving you. And they will continue to run your show until they trust that you can steer and do it all on your own. Until then, you do not have as much control as you think. And you're going to start to see this as you make peace with these little ones. How little control you had. And the more anger, the more stirrings, the more disruptions, the more triggers, the more you have to go back and make peace with. And depending on how much you pissed off or hurt your little you, is about what he or she is going to be remembering. It's all about the remembering. The triggers are the emotions that are similar to what you once experienced. And if you've been ignoring these triggers and just doing a lashing and then carrying on, it's just going to intensify. This, again, when we talk about not going to the garden with any storms, any wars, we have to start with ourselves. And so, thank goodness we got some helpers in the house, in the dimensions. We got angels. And this is why the angels wanted to talk a little bit more about their role in your ascension. Testing is required. Be clear. I know there's some rap on angels don't test you. Yes, they do. They have to ensure you can lead them. They have to make sure that your dominion is credible. They also draw light to who and what you are still emotionally, dysfunctionally, and negatively attached to in 3D. They know where you want to go, family. They want to get you there. So if you're getting a whole bunch of triggers and you're like, I'm trying to do what's right. Why is this happening? You're doing everything right. This is the time when disruptions are happening. We have to look at them. We have to know who and what we're still at war with. Most of us have no idea. And notice, Warning! Your next location on the map will completely depend on how quickly you recover from your interruptions, your annoyances, your flares, your triggers, your angels. Seeing if you're going to bite. So this is why at this time we must exercise our spiritual skill and ability. This is where your wings come in. If you don't, you are going to have category 4 tornadoes on your hands, and your ass is going to be right back in wasteland, experiencing shitty wasteland feelings and emotions, and en route to deadland, depending on how much you let yourself spin out of control. This is why Spirit gives extra credits and light codes to those who recalibrate quickly, who overcome their tornadoes. And it's also why these ones progress so quickly. And hear this, you will keep playing your 3D, 4D slip and slide until you learn to control your emotions. Loved ones, you need to become a storm whisperer. When this is coming through, I'm like, I only got half of it. I'm like, a storm chaser. I'm like, Darren, storm. What do he's like? Whisper. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. So let's see what a storm whisperer has for skills, for wings. A storm whisperer is a master manipulator of energy. A lot of you, I know, you guys don't like manipulation because it's been used against you. What if you use manipulation and energy for good? What if you could alchemize and you had wizard skills where you could go into anything and manipulate it with your mind? Number 2, these storm whisperers, they can communicate and subdue storms of any category with their minds. They can effectively diffuse and manipulate storms within themselves, around them, and in others. That's some pretty big powers when you can take someone's storms and show them how to get rid of them. Number 4, these storm whisperers are not easily influenced, swayed, or affected by others' flying debris, their chaos, or their irrational and erratic behavior. Don't get caught up in other people's tornadoes. This is why don't even listen to them. You can ask Darren, I don't know how many conversations we're with people and I just get up and I walk away. And people think it's rude. I don't care. I don't want to listen. That's a whole bunch of energy now I got to get rid of. Or your storms come into my energy field. No, thank you. Get out of here. Number 5, before tornado even gets started, these storm whisperers, they can quickly clear its charge and its destructive capability and divert its trajectory to a completely new mission and purpose. Wow. Okay, that's some skill. Impressive. And number 6 is the most important. They're at peace with all of their little U's. This is why the paperwork is not important. We've been trying to preach this to people, so now we just took away the paperwork component. Now we're going to force you to deal with what you need to if this is what you want. Because we all know we have to do this. You're going to learn more. Hang tight. So how do we become a storm whisperer? Just even having that title sounds pretty cool. Well, we first of all have to understand how storms happen. It's a high pressure system and a low pressure system colliding. And the more there is, the bigger and violent the storm is. So we have to identify, first of all, what are emotions of a high pressure system? Super emotional, excited, Anxious. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean being excited is a bad thing, but we've seen ones who, this is too much. It's too high. Bring it down. Anxious, hyper, irrational, irritated, easily antagonized, angry, annoyed, disturbed, and frustrated. This is the land of the yellers, the screamers, the throwers, and the hotheads. Oh, and narcissists love this pressure system. And they will use these emotions as a playground. I know. Let's go to the next pressure system, the low pressure system. Sorrow, guilt, jealousy, doubt, fear, worry, depression, scary, gloomy, miserable, complainers, and whiners. Circle those ones. Notice who are your complainers and whiners in your life and just walk away. I'm sorry, I cannot be involved in this. I can't listen to this. I'm sorry, it just affects me too much. I have to leave. Go learn. I have one lady, she's like, okay, I know you walk away, so I'm just going to be careful what I say. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. It's working. That's what happens when you hold your light. Make people rise to you. And if they don't, I don't really want to hear from you anyways. Hold that space. It's imperative. See, my internet's a little wonky. This is the land of the Debbie Downers, the pill poppers, these guys, the chronic storytellers, and the hypochondriacs. This is their world, and they feed off of others in this pressure system. And here's the thing, notice all of these systems, they are emotions of DEADLAND and WasteLand. So this is why we need to know what to do when we feel that activation, when we see the disturbance. You can stop yourself before you reach down and attach to it and personalize it. Get your feelings hurt. You can do this by stabilizing, first of all, your pressure systems. Bring down the extreme and bring up the low so that it's not so violent. Stop engaging and entertaining the high and the low pressure systems. Stop feeding them. Here's the other thing. Get back to your seat. Get back there. You need to ground if you're getting activated. You need to connect to Father. Put the oxygen mask on. Open up your crown. Connect. And just breathe. That's where you start. Do those 3 things, family. Your recovery is going to be a lot quicker. Breathe. Calm yourself. While you're in this state, flush your system with white light. And don't stop until you feel the shift. This is important. Too many people pull out of it, going, oh, I'm just so pissed off, and they have to walk around, they have to kick something, throw something. No, stay in the space. Wait till you feel yourself going, oh, wow, okay. I'm not so irritated. But don't keep thinking about it. As long as you think about it, you're going to be charged. So bring yourself back. No, my intention is to release this energy. My intention is to understand why this is coming up. And this is why, notice once the shift happens, family, what emotional pressure system you're feeling. Is it a high one or is it a low one? There's going to be a consistency in it. And so when you are entertaining or engaging these low or high pressure systems, this means thinking, talking, and listening. Very important. If you do, it is imperative. If you do say something of a negative nature, if you realize, oh, okay, I've attached, I've engaged this energy. Wow, I'm pissed off right now. All you have to do is trump the energy. That's it. Satan didn't want you to know that. So write it down. say, think, or feel something of a higher vibration than you just put out. You know what happens? That energy goes out and it gobbles up what you just said. As long as it's that much of a higher vibration, what you just put out disappears. So remember that. What you think about, you bring about. So stop thinking about what you don't want. Like attracts like. What you feed grows. So stop feeding it. Stop breathing life into things you don't want. Going and telling the stories about. Stop telling your stories. Get your ass back to your seat. No one wants to hear it anyways. There, we said it. No one cares about your shitty wasteland stories. Everyone's got one. We don't serve each other sharing them. And this is when your skill and your ability to be able to manipulate energy is going to come in. But you must practice it. You must be diligent and you must be brave. Because it is going to challenge you in every spot and place in your being. And when you monitor and you maintain your being, loved ones, your pressure systems, they start to lose their power and balance. Your emotions don't control you anymore. It's brilliant. So the angels, loved ones, in all of this, there's more. We have more tools for you. Here it is. Number 6, remind yourself. Remember, a lot of this is about remembering what your desired ascension location is. Where do you want to be on the map? The wasteland emotions, they don't serve you. They're not going to get you to where you want to go. And here's the thing, you can go, and the Spirit actually made me write these exact numbers down. You can go from 4.2D, because points, apparently, I didn't realize this, points are very much in effect in the ascension scale. And you can go from 4.2 to 3.4 in a second, depending on how much you rage, how much you pick up that sand and put your heart and these ones they're being sucked back, but they don't even know it because they're shit together, come out of their 3-day bender. I know 3-day benders because that was me. I would go underground and hide myself until I got my energy together. But now it's about realizing you're getting sucked back into the vortex and go, it's the, and you turn it to, I know it's hard as your stomach's turning, but you have to do that transition. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to stay and get the exact results you've been getting. So you got to recognize, okay, I remember something about this. The codes will come together and go, okay, I just have to breathe. Just gonna breathe. Ooh, okay. All right, I'm feeling a little better. Keep your eyes shut. Don't look around. Keep your eyes shut. Connect to Father. Flush it. The worst thing you can do is open your eyes and go, ah. It's the whole looking down. Don't. Just stop. Stop, loved ones. Just stop. Get back to your seat. Remember, these emotional triggers you're experiencing, it's the purpose of WasteLand, not GraceLand. GraceLand is where you polish your edges, you refine yourself, your colors and your clarity to shine. But in WasteLand, this is about teaching you to control your emotions so you even have a chance in 4D. So getting back to the angels, they're here to help you and test you. They play multiple purposes for you. You can ask them to wrap their wings around you at any time. That's what the angel armories are about. You're going to realize what exactly is at the armor or the angel armory here soon enough. And so the message that I actually didn't deliver at last class was the angels want to let you know that if you ask, they said, especially when you're in one of those moments or at any time, they said, they will show you your light codes, what your love ascension meter reading is. So try that next time you're pissed off. Shut your eyes and go, okay, team, you said you're going to show me, or angels, you're going to show me my love ascension meter. Show me my codes and see if you see any color. See what colors you do see, what colors you don't see. It's going to be very impressive for you. And then, you know what? Check in on your codes when you're happy. When you're feeling really good, you're feeling aligned, you come out of a meditation. You know what, angels? I just want to check in on my love ascension meter. How am I doing? And watch. Go, okay. Well, yeah, when I got irritated about that person cutting me off, the angels showed me not a lot of color. Actually had some gray codes in there. But after I came out of a meditation or one of our classes, wow, I had rainbows running through me. They come out everywhere. Your whole aura will be infused with them. Let the angels show you. They will. So, what are light codes? We're talking about this. We're going to break this down a little bit more. Light codes is information. It's clues. It's knowledge. Programs, downloads, wisdom, seeds. You need these codes, the seeding, to be implanted in you so that you can remember. Otherwise, there's going to be no form of association. There'll be no way to put your codes together. And so when you come to Earth School, and there's a reason why we put so many slides out, so you can actually read these later and let them sink in. To let the codes in you activate. So let us give you a few little rememberings. Now, when you came here to Earth School, you imprinted and programmed yourself with these light codes. Everything you needed to be able to accomplish your mission here on Earth. This is why they say you have everything that you need within you. Yes, because you planted yourself with your own codes and what the information that you needed in your DNA. Here's the other thing. This is a lot of bells are going to go off for some loved ones on this next one. Your light codes are going to be, or will disturb those who haven't remembered theirs yet. So if you have codes that others want, one of two things are going to happen. They're going to get really irritated being around you. Or number two, they're going to be drawn to your light. They're going to ask questions. Don't get mad or frustrated at light codes you have that others don't, or that others have that you want and haven't remembered yet. This is where the comparison, being irritated, frustrated, there's a whole bunch of low and high pressure emotions you can experience if you attach to this, or attach to why you don't get along with somebody anymore, why someone irritates you, why it's like walking around eggshells on around some people. Because if you're shining too much light and they have too much dark, it's conflict of worlds. And people, like I mentioned, who are in the awakening stage, this is why get back to your seat and get yourself dialed. Your children, your spouse, people, your friends around you, if they're meant to wake up, they're going to be drawn to your codes, to your light. And this is going to be a piece of it, or this is a piece of advice that I was given very early on when I was first awakening, when I felt it was my job and duty to go around and tell everybody about what I was learning. Oh, let me tell you, did I get absolutely rocked. So here's what a teacher told me. Wait until they come and ask you. Simple. Keep shining your light. Keep doing you until they come and ask. And when they do, we've had loved ones too, where sometimes they're like, oh, and they start talking, and you know when you've lost your audience. You know when their codes are being disrupted and irritated. That's why be careful how much you implant on codes. Be intuitive. When you know you've given enough of a download, stop. And so this is going to move us into the next part here, because when we talk about light codes, the information for this course, I love to write my messages. It's how I can relate to them more, and then I remember the energy of how I was writing it and that I was in. And I had pages, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Darren, I'm like, it was last night, I hadn't started on my notes, and I was like, oh my goodness. And Spirit said, hey, it's just like your codes. You have everything you need. Now you just have to organize them. Bring order to your knowings now. Okay. So we're going to go into that a little bit, because here's the thing. Spirit said, you come into Earth School with pre-installed coding, but they're still sleeping. They're dormant, and they won't switch on until you remember. Then throughout your life, they said, you are given additional light codes, but you will not get them all at the same time. So they showed me how you get a little nugget here from this person, and then you have that experience over there, and you get hurt by this soul or this event. This message comes in, this code. Well, here's the thing. Here's your your mission, loved ones. Your mission in Earth School is to figure out the clues you gave yourself, put yourself back together again, because you're a mess. We all are. We are dismembered all over the place. And then bring ourselves back to life. And this is why when you learn a new wisdom, for instance, it might be the first time you think you're hearing about it, but you know it's true. This is where the expression, it just resonates. This is because the coding in you goes, I remember that. And as you hear these things, they're going to remind you of previous coding that you got in the past. Or it's going to activate the codes that you received coming to Earth. So you have two ways of getting codes. You get new codes that you just received or remembered. And you also get codes that activate by remembering in your waking up process. So in the past, these experiences, this coding that happened, these events, it was saved. It was pre-programmed in you, but at the time, it didn't mean much at the time. But once you start collecting and downloading enough of these codes, the old knowledge turns on, and these codes start coming together. This is where they start lining up. You start putting pieces together. That's where your ahas come from. And then soon, these sleeping and dormant codings, they start activating, initiating. And the more codes you remember, the quicker you progress in all of this. And then when you get really good, you can see what codes you're missing and go get them. Or you see colors that you're weak in, chakras that you know you need to feed more and get more wisdom around. You can bring actually that light into you, or ask for those codes to be activated within you. You can do meditations to activate what you need. Help me remember this. It's beautiful. And that's why Spirit said extra coding and color are given to those pursuing such great works. But here's the problem. Most, if not all of the codes that we came here with, like I said, they do not switch on, they do not initiate until you hit a certain ascension or checkpoint in the game, till you've collected enough light, till you are lighter and full of light. You have to hit certain vibrations. And this is why the waking up phase is so important. Moving through WasteLand so we can get to GraceLand. Okay, well, how do we accelerate this program or this process? Well, something called infinity charms. So get some visuals on this. So what is an infinity charm? An infinity charm are upgrades, downloads, activators, charges, defraggers, buster-uppers of negative and dysfunctional beliefs. They give you superpowers, feathers, and colors for your wings. All the good things. Get me some charms, infinity charms. So they're actually comprised of the 9 chakras, loved ones. Now, many are going to say, well, there's only 7. Well, there's actually thousands, but there's 7 primary. But in my opinion, there's actually 9 primary, because the heart and the throat chakra have different meanings. This is your ability to speak. This is your ability to express your feelings and emotions. Very different. This is your ability to love. The back part of your chakra is the ability to be loved and to love yourself. Very different. This is why this one is green. The back is pink. Close, but very different. These infinity charms, let's talk about where their locations are in DEADLAND. Infinity stones in DEADLAND require the angels to find them due to heavy darkness and a constant state of storms there. You're not going to see people walking around in 3D all lit up like a rainbow with a whole bunch of charms in their back pocket. It's not going to happen. In 3.5 WasteLand, they're hidden throughout it, but they're buried and they're a little tricky to find. Satan made sure of that. And then we got 4D, GraceLand, where they are riddled throughout. We got them at the army or the angel armory. They've got stacks and bundles of them. Ask what's your pleasure. We got at the little U-bridges, infinity super packs. What are those? They come in bundles of 3, because we know there's powers in 3. And depending on your intentions, you can actually meet up with specific little U's that will give you the colors and the learnings and the wisdom that you require. They'll give you a color party pack. Unreal. That's their power. So here's your mission, loved ones, should you choose it, because it's always a choice. Collect as many infinity charm codes as you can until your ass is in the garden. Keep going, keep collecting, keep charging, keep upgrading. That's the whole point of this. And so this next message that I'm going to talk about, this is a big one. It's gonna kind of, well, like I said, it's new information for me. And I do believe it's going to be new information for most of you here as well that is going to be listening to this. But again, we have to know about what this is. And Spirit wanted to give some clarity on what is the garden. We get this question a lot. What is ascension? What does it even mean? 5D, what is that? Are we going somewhere? And if we are, what does that even look like? Where are we destined to be? Everyone's working for 5D. We have no idea where we're going, but apparently it's supposed to be better than where we are. Yes, true. But we can get to where we want to be a lot quicker if we know what's there. So here's a couple belief systems and theories that are out there that I've heard over the years. My personal favorite, spaceships and aliens are going to arrive, pick up the ascended, and leave just with them. Stop it. Get back to your seat. That serves no purpose. Connect with Father. Get your head straight. Holy shit. Here's another one. 5D is a state of being. It's a state of mind. Okay. Explain that. How? What we know of 5D is you command the angels there. You can perform miracles there. You are given superpowers there. And you also have your wings back in 5D. So there's many ascended ones that are professing and claiming to be in 5D. Okay. Well, then why aren't we seeing any changes in the world? We should be seeing some clear evidence of your wings, of you being there. Show us what you can do then. What are your superpowers? You should be extraordinarily different. You should not be of this world. And you should be able to do things that most, if not all, can't. And if you can't do that, you're not in 5D. So give your head a shake. Hey, I'll be honest. I thought in my wisdoms before all of this, yeah, I'm tapping into 5D because I can talk to angels. No. So let's move in to the real lies of 5D. Here it is. This is what we know of 5D. No persons are allowed. None. Period. The dead do not have access to Father's kingdom or the garden. Double period. We have comments on some of our pages going, no, Jesus Christ has saved me, and he's given me all the freedom I need. Wow. But again, if people don't have certain light codes, don't engage. Do you see? Don't engage. I'm seeing some yawns in the house. Love it when that happens. Number 3, anyone in possession of a birth certificate and or a social insurance number, a sin, is fornicating with a legal entity. You are nowhere near Jesus. This is what we're trying to awaken the world to. I know a lot don't like to hear this, but if you have a SIN number or a birth certificate, you have another master. You have another father. Especially when you're volunteering to identify as an all caps name. You belong to Satan and Her Majesty. That's why it doesn't matter how much you go to church or read the Bible. Number 6, no man or woman may enter 5D or the garden without equity. So if you're a healer or you're a teacher or you're an ascended one and you don't know about equity, you have some learning to do. You probably capped out on your ascension, and there's a reason for that, and we're going to tell you soon. Number 7, why do we know this? Because Christ is equity. He's going to be returning through equity. And so the Spirit, or the message that Spirit wanted to give on this, is you can only get so far in 4D as a person. And that's why bless these ascended ones who've been going into these storms, using their tools, trying to figure out their way, trying to help bring light into this world. Thank you. Thank you. But if you're a person, you can only do so much. Because why would you be allowed to progress to 5D when you're fake or you're not real? You can't. This is why we need to understand the importance of these light codes that are coming in. And when it comes to actual equity, you may have heard, oh, yes, hold on here, 1 second here. Let me just see here 1 second. Okay, nope. So I'm going to go into this, this next part. Hang on, family. This is the part that's going to wow you. So you may have heard, and it was interesting because some people that were listening to the power of our we dropped a little hint there about Earth School having a waiting list. Earth, there's how many billions of people? How can there not be, that has always been a question of mine. How can there not be vacancy? I'm not understanding how, there should be Like, there's a lot of people that don't want to come back here, as far as I know. So why isn't there space available? And Spirit said that the souls coming back owe too much karmic debt, and they must return to Earth School. Now, to be able to understand this, we need to remember our Earth School agreements. Okay, so Spirit's here to refresh our coding, to wake up your sleeping DNA that's been embedded. Number one, your soul agreed to volunteer and sign up for Earth School. First and foremost, you came here knowing the rules. You knew how it worked. You knew you had to volunteer. You knew prior to coming here that you arranged your missions, which is your lessons, your events, your traumas, pain, all of it. Your lovers, your parents. You arranged all of this with souls and Father that you had to learn and that you had to experience for your greatest growth and ascension in these areas. If you, in your past lives, are not learning about self-love, you would have engaged a lot more soul agreements to learn that in your next life. B, you were given inactive, dormant coding in your DNA so you could accomplish your missions. Hear that? You received in your DNA before you came here everything you needed to remember. Their activations commencing at the right time, when you put in enough effort and you've collected enough light. Number 3, you have to remember before you came here that upon entry, your memories, your wisdom, and your past lives are erased. You knew this too. Number 4, you understood you would have a karmic bank account in Earth School. Your life results would be tracked through a credit and debit system. And this would all be based on the decisions and the choices that you made here. Oh, there's more. Apparently there's a lot we forgot, loved ones. Number 5, the spiritual guides and the Galactic Federation are permitted to give you additional downloads, extra wisdom and light codes, infinity charms, to any offsetting their karmic debt. Please write that down and circle it. Make that your new focus. I want to offset my karmic debt. Okay, but here's the downside. Most of these encounters and their meetings, they're primarily made in your sleep. Ugh, I know. But they're also made in your meditations, which you have a better chance of remembering. So notice, upon waking from your sleep, little to none of these downloads will be remembering, but the coding remains intact. Why? Because you enter and you flare your storms when you wake up. You engage your wars, your tornadoes. Right, who am I mad at again? Think about that. We wake up, okay, what scenarios am I pissed off at and who am I still don't like? Oh, and your coding just goes lost to infinity and beyond. This one's gonna rock you. Number 6, upon leaving Earth School, you do not go home. You are diverted to a life discovery, also known as a life review, where spirit guides and angels will review your final mission score, also known as Judgment Day. They're going to see the results of your karmic bank account. In scripture, it's called the reckoning. How did you do on your mission? Hang on, I know. Number 7, you are only permitted to leave Earth School once your life discovery reveals your account or scorecard as neutral, offset, or you have a karmic credit. If your life discovery shows that you owe karma or debt, you need to return to Earth School. So if you owe a karmic debt to Earth School, to your missions, here's the thing. When you go back and get that life review, the more you missed it, the more you got to come in with more missions to offset it, or there's no way of clearing the debt. So we're coming into these lives with insurmountable mountains to overcome. We're all stuck here on a karmic loop. We're trying to get back home, but every time we keep returning back home, we're not remembering our missions. We're coming back with little to no light codes. We're coming back with inactive ones. So we just keep creating more debt here, which is why we have to keep coming back. So this is why we're stuck. This is why no one is going home. We owe more than we can pay. And we have no rememberings to do it. We don't have the rememberings because we're not getting our vibration high enough to remember what we came here to do. And you know what? This is one reason why the little shit rats of the elites want to kill off most of us. Think about that. When they only have to deal with 500,000 people, anyone who's going back home, poof, comes back in. They can control, snuff it. There is no way of us ever ascending to 5D. That is collapsed. This is why it is so important we start remembering. And don't be upset with those that don't remember. Stay in your own lane. Get your ass back to your seat. It's okay if they're not coming online. It's okay if they're not waking up. They're not supposed to. They need to go home and restart again. We talk about the poof, because sometimes people need a poof because they need a restart. They're offline. They're out of order. They're not going to return to order anytime soon. Which is why their higher self will divert them home to make room to come in. And here's the goal. By the time these souls come in again and grow up, we're going to have a totally different world. They're going to have a chance to remember. And we're going to make sure we remind them, okay, if you're coming in right now, let's have. And this is what we're going to help with. So, the 5D realm, you need to understand in this energy, you can manipulate it. In 5D, you can come and go from your body at will. Hear that? If you're a 5D'er, you can come and go. They take you. This is where your visions happen. This is where you get your messages. The difference, though, is that once you hit a certain level, loved ones, Spirit brought in that you don't return from sleep in the traditional manner anymore. You get to remember. Think about that. When you get to a certain level, you're now coming back, because when you go home, when you sleep, and that's what I mean, when you go home to sleep or you go into a meditative state, guides, teachers, leaders, the most elite ascended masters come to meet you, and they sit with you and they teach you and they give you all the codings that you need. Then you go back, you wake up, you go back with the coding. It's just a matter of whether you're not going to remember it or not. So that's why this is such a game changer. And I had my first experiences of this just last month, where I'd be coming back, and I remember I'm coming back, and there would be 3 guides, and they're speaking the same thing to me as I'm coming back, and I start repeating what they're saying. That's why I woke up. I'm like, I got to write this down. But again, I only remembered portions of it. Imagine sitting with galactics for 8 to 10 hours. This is when we're going to go and sleep for a really long time. And coming back and going, okay, ready, world? Imagine if there's 20 of us that can do that. 144,000. Oh, stop it. Do you know what could happen? Big changes. Huge. So imagine, loved ones, souls graduating from Earth School, the game of sin, reaching a frequency and a vibration when we can bring upgrades back and then teach it. Spirit said, this is what allows you to command the angels. Why do you think you can command the angels? I'll tell you, because they come back with you. You don't have just your wings, you have all theirs too. Myriads of them. This is how we reach new levels, loved ones. This is how we get our spiritual superpowers. This is how we start to make miracles happen. Huge. Now we're at the 1 hour mark. Go take a break. This one's going to be a little long, I know, but we got a few more slides to get through and then we'll get to the meditation. So take just a 5-minute break and we'll be right back. Okay, so just real quick here, family, we've got a drawing here that Darren did. We're going to give you a few minutes to go and print it off. If you have a printer, you're going to want to print this off. We're going to have, and we'll make it nice and or as big as we can to be able to go over it in. Okay, so we wanted to give you a little sneak peek at that picture, but you're going to have to wait a moment. We just have a few more things we're going to cover here. Okay, so let's go over some garden refreshers, some 5D rules for participation and acceptance. Number 1, no persons allowed. You will not be granted access to the garden if you are possessed of your legal all caps name, family. You have to know this. This is why if you've been, again, operating as a healer or a helper for 3D, thank you. We appreciate your services, but again, they're no longer required from your position. The angels are now diverting you, again, to go back to your seat. Because your purpose, your mission here in Earth School, it's going to be much better served by directing now your energy to yourself at this time. Number 3, no wars or storms are allowed of any kind. This includes any and all of your low and high pressure systems. We have to get control of our emotions, loved ones, so we don't emotionally fluctuate so much. so that when we come back from our sleep, we stop activating our wars and who we're angry with. Your minds are your tornadoes, loved ones. Your minds are the culprit. So how do you identify your storms and your triggers? Well, you have to ask yourself, what transactions or wars am I authorizing as soon as I wake up? Huge notice, because you have to engage those walls and those wars. They take effort. They're exhausting. Ask yourself, what past scenarios am I replaying over and over? This is another big one. Someone who pissed you off, someone who hurt you. And danger, the scenarios that you imagine on what you would say and what you would do if that ever happens again. Hear that? How many times have we replay conversations? Oh man, she says that one more time to me. This is what I'm going to say. And then we perfect it. Oh, careful. This is what we call landmines. They explode in your face and you are drawn to it every time. And that's how you manifest your fears. Ask yourself, who do you have negative emotional responses to when you see or think about them? This is another big question. These are the ones you have ties to, cords to. We'll show you how you can mend those, especially if they passed over already. Ask, what emotions are you experiencing at this time? And how do they make you feel? We are big on how does that make you feel? If you feel shitty, stop doing it. It's very simple. If you get angry, you get upset, stop doing what you're doing. And what memories or emotions is it reminding of you or reminding you of when you were little? And this is why circle number 4, loved ones, your little U's give the final approval on your application for the garden. You think we're kidding? You will see soon enough. This is why you cannot ignore this kind of healing. They grant you in. And if you don't do the work, they will keep you caught in storms and pain. Storms and pain. And this is why the little U's are so important. There are bridges. They help accelerate us. We're all scared. The system wanted us to be scared about going back to them. Oh, just forget about it. Just don't think about it. They didn't want you going and making peace with these versions of yourselves, because as soon as you did, they bridged the bridges. And you're going to see how impactful they are in a moment. They give your final approval on whether you deserve it or not, or whether you need to still go back and do work with him or her and collect a few more infinity charms. So you can't get into the garden or 5D without being at peace with all of you, which means all of them. Simple. Now, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to have one of my inner circles pull up that picture. And one moment for a surprise come up. Look who I found.
Hello, everybody. So this is a mouthful to look at. I know. And then there's a lot of layers built into this. There's a lot of cycles built into this. And I think we've got this as large as we can see it. I don't know how it is on your end, but I definitely recommend printing this so you can get better eyeballs on it, and then tape it to your fridge so you can look at it 5 times a day if need be. what you're going to notice here first and foremost is let's just kind of start at the bottom. That's kind of typically where we were thrown. So let's just work with that. So we got the little guy in red in the very middle of all this. And you can see he's got 2D on either side of him. And then he's kind of flanked by a bunch of skeleton looking dead kind of guys.
Angry.
So this is representative of DEADLAND. So if you kind of notice, this is in the configuration of a heart that's upside down. And again, this is for a reason. But notice this 2D, it does wrap all the way up. It kind of disappears on the lateral or on the sides here. But then it 2D represents itself back up here in the upper left and then the upper right corner. So you can kind of see all the four corners are kind of tagged with this two-dimensional DEADLAND zone. You're going to notice next, in the bottom portion of the lobes here, you got these arrows. So it looks like skeletons can go back and forth, and something that's in this next world here called WasteLand, these arrows allow the direction to go back and forth. And this is continuous. I mean,
slip and slide.
This is parts of the slip and slide. And again, think of this as an exhaustive application. You can constantly be bouncing between WasteLand and DEADLAND continually. Many of us throughout our lives never get past WasteLand. And if you look at WasteLand here, this is a progression from DEADLAND. At least we got some people that appear to have some type of life going on. But look what they're surrounded with. They're surrounded by serpents. They're surrounded by vortexes and money issues, and there's a lot of turbulence here.
Look, there's even a snake coming out of a guy's mouth there.
So this would be a man or woman, with the forked tongue spewing lies. Scripture talks about this a lot. We can refer to that on another show. But you'll see primarily here, the bottom portion of the 3D wasteland, there's, again, a lot of confusion, a lot of shock, a lot of disarray, a lot of chaos, a lot of almost zombie type scenario. But look at what we got here. If you start working your way up 3D, you're going to find you're going to hit a maze. When Jody was mentioning the other day in class when we were speaking about the glass walls, well, consider these glass walls to be this maze. So we can work our way through this maze, and all of a sudden we can get to a spot called 3.5D, where we're kind of making some progress. We're not as squirrely. I mean, look at our eyes. Look at the gentleman and the lady's eyes here.
Starting to get some color.
In 3.5D, okay, it looks like there's a little bit of calm happening, at least. It's not so erratic and chaotic. There's still room to grow, don't get me wrong, but at least we're making some progress. Now, this 3.5 spot, this can be very consuming. Many of us get trapped right here. We make a little progress and then we can never seem to make any more, or the system comes crashing down on you and it teaches you a lesson for standing up for your God-given birthright and trying to exercise the thing. So ultimately we get punished. So 3.5 takes a little bit of courage, takes a little bit of audacity, it takes a little bit of strength and a little bit of intuition, maybe even some powers of observation, maybe throw that on top. So you'll see, again, back to the 3D in the bottom area here, again, it's all fear. You see, like, fear repeats. I think we got fear in here 4 or 5 or 7 times. Up in 3.5, okay, we've replaced fear, but now we just got some doubt. I'm not so afraid, but I still don't quite think this is going to work out the way I would like it to. Okay, well, again, that's a limiting state of mind. That is a confining. See, now this is where I'm going to say a confining is a better application of the word rather than infining. Maybe infining would work here as well. So we can making progress in 3.5. We're going to develop some encouragement and some momentum, but look what we're faced with again right away. 3.75D. So this is 3 3/4 D. We're not quite at 4, but look at the progress. Well, we've actually got some smiles.
And some hearts.
Some hearts. We've actually got a lot of presence, a lot of skills, some tools.
Joy.
We've never been farther than this for most people. Again,
we've never been past 3.7 for most of us.
But you'll still see, though, at the end of the day, this is still in the 3rd dimension. You're still a public citizen here. You're still got the person. You're trying to get rid of it, but it's still lingering. We're doing our best to deal with that. However, look at what we've done. We've navigated this maze. There's some serpents hiding in here, and there's pitfalls, and there's all kinds of unknowns and variables and stuff. But look what's happening up in this 3.75D. We got in the center here towards the middle. We got these little trap doors. Look at this. We got little hinges and these little doors that kind of flap. So what that's telling us is if you knock properly, that door might open, and oh, look, boing, you can get directly shot right into 4D. So now you're looking
shortcut.
Now you're looking around in this GraceLand realm. GraceLand's heavy. This is basically a mixture of all the things, but now we have little U's. Now we've got choices. We got red, we got blue, we got bridges, we got peace offerings. And if you look at that hand holding the bouquet of what looks to be flowers, if you actually zoom in on that a little bit harder, you're actually going to see that those are chakra symbols. So when Jody's mentioning, hey, we're going to get chakra light codes in bundles of 3. So now look at this. Now you got this hand reaching out and offering you a light code. Well, it's going to be up to you to accept it or not. But look at the outer perimeter of this heart, again, where 4D is meeting 3.5 and 3.75. This thing is changing from red and blue as it circulates around. And now look at this. Well, we got some bridges here. What are these bridges all about? And look at what the bridges are going over. It looks like there's a dark space. Is that dark space kind of that tunnel that we have to wake up every morning and kind of forge our day through this tunnel? Look at this in for example, 3.5D. The uncertain, the little bit of doubt, well, we're making progress. Look at that though. You can literally jump and go in from the tunnel. You can go through that dark tunnel and poof, wind up right in 4D. This is tricky though, however, because you haven't had the guidance of our little U's. So even though you might get to 4D, you're looking around and you're seeing some children on these bridges. At some point, you're going to want to go cross this bridge. The children are little U's. Look at this one bridge on the upper left here. The red and blue line from the heart actually goes right through the little U's. Yeah, we got a little boy, a little girl, at one age, and then in the more to the mid background there, we got another smaller version of the boy and girl. So we have multiple versions of our little U's that we literally have to go right through. But look at this as an opportunity for, again, guidance and wisdom and hand-holding and softening the blow. Getting ourselves back on track, back in alignment. The more bridges we can cross with little U's, the further we're going to go. So you're going to notice here, though, in 4D GraceLand here, again, we got bridges, we got chakra offerings in the forms of bouquets, like peace offerings. But look what happens. If you slip enough, you kind of turn into those little squiggly skeleton kind of guys and look towards the bottom of the heart that's inverted. Oh, we got more trap doors down there at the bottom. These doors open up and you get sucked right back down into wasteland if you make enough poor decisions. And here's why making poor decisions is more poor than you think. Look what happens when you get, I don't want to say pooped out the bottom of this thing, but that's kind of what it's looking like. You go right back to wasteland. Where are you now? Yeah, you literally get excreted back into wasteland. Oh shit, oh my God, now I'm back in 3D. I'm dealing with fear. I'm dealing with all those tornadoes, those vortexes, the serpents, and now I got to work my way back up through that maze. Shit, I hope I remember all my lefts and rights. I got to work my way through that maze, get to a place of sort of calm. Okay, just a little bit of doubt. Go through another maze and work my way back up again, which is why every time we fall because of a poor choice, just recognize, oh no, I'm going to have a boatload of work to do to get my ass out of this wasteland again. And now you can start to see these karmic loops starting to happen. Again, we're saturated, we're drowning in mazes, serpents, confusion, doubts, fear, and all things not good. We want to try to get out of these spots as quickly as we can. So let's just focus now on the immediate middle here, where again, we got this red inverted heart that says 5D, and now we've got a red hand extending out with, again, another bouquet of chakra images. But infinity charms. But you're going to notice this time, okay, well, there doesn't really appear to be a way to actually get into that heart. And this is where I'm going to suggest, oh, yes, there is. Although it doesn't look like I can penetrate and get in there. How about if I show up as the air and come in through the trees. Go back to that tree of life. The air, again, we've had loved ones mention, okay, the law is pretty much based on the sea, the land, and the air. Okay, well, now change the word AIR to HEIR, show back up as the air, come back through the tree canopy, the foliage, all the life part of the tree, knowing now, hey, I'm not going to bite the fruit on the way down. And where might I land up if I pull all these little things off together? Ta-da! I'm in this little zone in the middle here. 5D. This is where we're all striving to get to. This is, again, as Jody has suggested, this is a place where we're going to be able to exercise something called dominion. Dominion happens to be you control everything on this planet as we know it. As long as your control doesn't interfere or collide or pose a problem with another loved one exercising the same dominion. When two dominions meet, what happens? Well, I'm going to suggest these individuals get together and they, oh, sorry, Jim, I didn't know you were going to build a school there. Hey, no problem. I'm going to move my hospital just a little down the road. Peace. There. That's about as much conflict as individuals in the 5D realm will have. Love fixes this stuff. So again, loved ones, this is just a little bit of a reminder of what we're up against. Just again, primarily notice you can be in GraceLand, but with one slip, whoop, you can get flushed and excreted out the bottom of this thing. And trust me, those doors close when you pass. It's not like you can just stand back and crawl back up through the hole and be right back where you started. You know, this is meant to teach us to make better choices, not to just rely on poor choices and thinking, yeah, that's good enough. That's going to get my lazy ass through life. Wrong. And if that's our attitude, we probably have no business even looking at such a map as this. Now, the top of this kind of thing does look sort of cut off, and I'm not going to touch on it right now, but we kind of left some room. Maybe there is another element to this map. I don't know. We'll see how the cartoon comes in. Yeah, we'll see how the cartoon skills come in the next little bit. But again, just a quick reflection of where we are. Look at this thing and think of, okay, where am I right now? Well, yeah, I would say I'm 3.5. I sort of know about the birth certificate problem. I sort of know what I got born into. I sort of know what the legal system's saying. I kind of know what Darren's talking about with this equity thing. And I'm feeling a little better. So I might be floating between 3.75 and 3.5 for the most part. I'm still going to wake up and have a shitty day every now and then and start a war. And then, oh, crap, remember, oh, I'm not supposed to start a war. Bring all that back. Trumpet. Okay, so I got to remember tomorrow when I wake up, don't start that war. Because I kind of wrecked today already by starting the war. Reset. So again, notice the layers and notice these loops. And again, look at these bridges. You can slip under one of these bridges and wind up in 4D whenever you want, but you did that on your own. Again, remember, you did that without the help of the little U's. And now you're going to walk around a little bit lost, a little bit misguided in GraceLand, and you either better have a lot of skills you're developing really quick, a lot of abilities, or at least be meditating a lot to navigate at that point. If you so choose to go around the little U's and try to accomplish all this without building your team, it's going to be tough. I just recommend not doing it that way. Am I going to suggest it's impossible? No. 1 in 8 billion might be able to pull it off. And I'm going to say,
also known as impossible.
Yeah, those are not good odds. So let's just use the little U's, develop these friendships, rekindle these relationships, build, so that pretty soon, not just you are jumping in as an heir into 5D. Guess what you're doing? You're bringing the little ones with you. The whole unit shows up.
At peace.
And then stay there. Don't you dare get shit out the system and wind up back in WasteLand and go, oh, what the hell just happened?
Don't reach down and grab and attach.
No, see, once you get clean, you're going to want to try to stay clean. It's like, you ever go on one of these diets where, oh my God, I lost 12 pounds this week. I actually feel pretty good. I'm going to keep going. Or do you say, hey, you know what? I feel great today. I've lost 12 pounds, but screw it. I'm going back to cheeseburgers and potato chips tomorrow. Why? See how that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's unreasonable, but see how it's not realistic? You wouldn't have laid down that initial momentum to try to get to a goal just to self-sabotage it. No, that's kind of not what the chosen ones, the children, are supposed to be doing.
Although many do.
So again, remember, we got a lot of chaos in WasteLand here. DEADLAND, there's not even chaos in DEADLAND. It's just void. We're born into DEADLAND. With a bit of progress, we make it to WasteLand. Now, this is where, again, we can waste our entire lives. That's why we called it WasteLand. In this particular bubble or this realm, those out there who have not been touched by spirit, who have no idea what the law is, certainly not a clue what equity is all about, but I go to church and I read my book and I know Jesus has already saved me. Really? Well, you're very, very possessed of the person.
And confused.
I'm here to pull the plug on that mentality. That's not going to fly like that. Yeah, he saved us once, and then we all volunteered to go right back to what he saved us from. Can you imagine the slap? I can almost hear the slap that we do when we go sign back up for that social citizen. Don't want to be doing it. So again, loved ones, feel free to print this, throw it up on the fridge, let the kids look at it and go, what is all of that? Every time you go for that cheeseburger or the bag of chips, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to put myself mentally right in 3.75 at the beginning of today, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to finish today at least 4 point whatever.
If you want your kids to blow your hair back, print this, put it out, and ask them what their feels are.
Like, yeah, there's a good idea. What is it? What does this mean to you?
What do you get from this?
I don't recommend, maybe don't do it to a 4-year-old. I mean, there's kind of some of these squirrely guys and girls down here in WasteLand.
I don't know. They might be.
They look a little
scary.
scary. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
Okay, loved ones, we'll be right back. Actually, I'm gonna just give us one moment here, please. Okay, loved ones, I'm just going to get you to stop sharing there. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So this is why we are excited about bringing in these guidebooks and this meditation. So like we mentioned, we've been very much Dïevergents focusing on our queens, the women at this point, to be able to go and learn these skills. And what's nice about this is, as we mentioned, the little U's are stepping forward right now, men included. Women, all little U's are stepping forward with the angels and the galactics. They want to work with us for those who want to work with them. And we do have various meditations. If this is new for you, we actually have a meet and greet meditation so you can learn how to build your relationship with these different versions of yourself, especially if you've been ignoring and abandoning yourself for a very long time. Now, what's beautiful about sending these sisters into this arena and these missions is they have incredible insight and wisdom that they have learned. We have our sister Joanne that is going to be sharing some videos with you as well. Keep your eyes peeled on the Elemental channel. She is going to be able to share how she was able to sit and be in the energy of some very strong imprinting that she received as a young child. Just like our sister Monica, she's going to be sharing her experience of something that happened that she hasn't been able to shake almost her whole life. She had a 3D storm follow her. And as she worked through this and the different ways that you can heal yourself, we have multiple ways where you can bring different versions of yourself forward. You can bring souls forward that hurt you in the past, that have passed over, or that are still alive that you just don't have the ability to talk to. And we don't even encourage you going and talking to these individuals. We encourage you bringing their souls forward. These queens are going to share this information with you, again, on the Elemental chats. You're going to be wanting to divert your attention there. We also have a newer queen, Sister Carol. She has been beating herself up for far too long. thinking she wasn't doing things right, and she was doing them perfect. Absolutely perfect, because a lot of our loved ones are coming in the space and with the knowings that she has. So she's going to be imparting some great wisdoms for you to be able to guide you through this. So here it is. Each of you are going to have these guidebooks to print off. We have a male and a female. We understood it was important for each to have their own, and we didn't want to forget about our kings in the mix. So these are going to be the questions that are going to be asked, okay? So when we go into this meditation, you're going to be asking a younger version of yourself that wants to speak and see you. This is key. When you engage a little one that you are wanting to get information from, you don't get no-shows. You don't have little yous that say little to nothing. You're going to have a little you who's going to school you. Our queens came back out of their meditations just like, wow, how do they know so much? Because the little yous, they get to bounce between worlds. Stop calling them your ego. That's what your ego is your little you. It's the underdeveloped parts of yourselves. It's the parts of you that came here not remembering. So when you hear teachers going, kill the ego, remove the ego, stop, get back to your seat, you're confused. You're not thinking straight. This is not about killing or being at war with anything. This is about making peace. So you're going to ask this little you to come forward and take you to a place that makes him or her feel safe and happy. The meditation is going to take you through these questions. So I'm not going to go through all of this. What I will show you, okay, so here are the questions. Extra wisdoms. So anything else that comes in, even if you get a message where you're like, I don't know what that means, write it down. The little you, because then you can go into another little you and engage that. Go, okay, wow, I'm needing more clarity on this. Can I please have a little one step forward that can give me these infinity charms that I require? Here are slides that you can print off to take your questions within your meditations to different levels. This is going to be level 1. So this is new to you. These are some questions that you can ask. As you progress and start to want to explore and go and collect certain codes, this is going to be your next level. I'm not going to read them through. And here's your level 3. This slide and going and asking these questions to your little you is going to rock your world. This was a part that I felt bringing in as well, because we can be so angry and so upset at the people that hurt us. But what if you needed to learn that for the garden? What if you had to be able to teach that? What if you had to show people how you had that same experience and how you're healed from it? It makes you think different. It's not the poor me anymore. It's the, oh, now I understood why I have to learn that. And now I'm going to focus on bringing those light codes so I can really feed that and heal that part of myself. Because I know there's other women or men that have that wound and no one knows how to heal it. So I have to heal myself first before I can go and help or heal anyone else. This is why, please, healers, go back to your seats. Take your learnings and your wisdom to another level. Then you can go back and heal. Once you do these, you are going to have the opportunity to write out your experience. After that, if you can please pick up your phone, push record, give us a feels report. Put it on Elemental. We can help you and work through things that you are experiencing or feeling. So this is why, oh, here's our last one, the Ascension Destination. We're going to go into breakout rooms now. The meditation is approximately 20 minutes long. The men's, ironically enough, is about a minute longer. Not sure quite how that happened. At the end, stay in the field of what you received. Write down as much as you can. It's like a dream. So get as much as you can down. We're going to bring you back to the room afterwards. We will not be sharing little you experiences. There's too much crossover that happens. We all have enough problems with our little yous. We don't have to hear about each other's little you problems. It's just that simple. If you give a feels report, we don't need the answer or what happened to every question within the questionnaire. Pick 3 things. Anytime you give a feels report, pick 3 things that really stood out to you and explain why they did and why they impacted you so much. And so with that, we're about to go into a restored relationship with your little you. Hang on. This is one of the most impactful meditations you're about to experience. We are going to give you 5 minutes to be able to grab your crystals, get comfortable. If you're wanting, again, to meditate laying down, make sure we can see your faces. Very important. We get reads from them. So we're going to have men go this way, women go this way. And we're going to meet back here in about 25 minutes. Once we bring you back to the room, document. We're going to keep the room open, and then we will be closing down the class. It's not the end, though. If you have anything that comes up, we will help you. We have explored this part. We have a year's worth of experiences and knowledge that we can draw from. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in 3D world, it is a lot. And you're going to be impressed by the knowledge that we can come back with, because we've had some pretty brave queens going into some areas that no one was willing to go into. Grab your crystals, get a cozy blanket, a pillow, make sure you are supported. Again, this is a working meditation. You should not be lying down. If it's a working meditation, you stay connected, stay upright. Make sure you're comfortable and supported. Okay, we have different meditations where you lay down, but this one, when it's called a working meditation, and it's funny because some of our queens went, oh my goodness, it was a working meditation, but it just kind of lulled me. I know. Half of this meditation is getting you to a space where you can even meet your little you. This was drawn out because we have to get you in alignment. So you're coming into this charged full, and you can come back with less muddy results. Okay, we will see you in a little bit. Take 5 minutes, then the breakout room, and then we will start the meditation. Okay, family, in 1 minute, we're going to be doing the breakout rooms. Our sister Joanne is going to be taking the women along with sister Jessica, and Scott and I are going to be joining the gentlemen. All right, hang tight. Hello, gentlemen. I always got to come with the kings. Love working with you boys. Okay. So like I said, this one's a little bit longer. I want you all just to sit and let yourself be lost in this. Go into this open with no reservations and no expectations, and you are going to have a wonderful experience. Okay, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Welcome to a restored relationship with your little you. Relax, slow down, and let's begin by closing your eyes and setting intentions to be mindful and present, to stay in the space of the here and now. And from this place, let's take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. You know how to do this. Deep breath in, fill up your lungs with the universe's life-giving air, and breathe out, letting your belly continue to rise and fall as you stay connected and grounded to the sensation of every breath. Very good, brother. And now bring awareness to the top of your head, to your crown chakra. And let's begin opening it up, allowing yourself to connect with the higher powers, with Father and the Royal Galactics. And as your energies begin to mix and build, allow yourself to surrender to your angelic cosmic family. Let go, brother, and trust, so they may engage your rememberings and activate your forgotten knowings. You will now have a few moments to be turned up to their frequency. And ask now that your divine team take this transcendent energy that you are experiencing right now and draw it down through your crown and flush your entire system with its limitless powers. Notice how it extinguishes impurities and any energy that is negative or toxic in your body. Feel that, brother? That's the rush of your universal family infusing your body with rainbow light, purging you of anything not serving you, and color coding any parts of your body that need extra love, attention, and healing. Watch as your angels use these hypnotizing and beautiful rainbows to ignite your being with colors that dance and intertwine as they eradicate any energy not of their vibration and simply remove it at your hands and your feet. Let these gifts for you from Spirit, these living, vibrant rainbows of light, rush through your entire mass, noticing with your spiritual eyes how you're activating and glowing in a divinely coded light path designed uniquely just for you at this very moment. Feel your electrified figure vibrating in harmony as this divine light streams through you. This is the time. And so ask now that your cosmic family divert this rainbow elixir into the heart and belly of Mother Gaia. Ask that she too be blessed and fed with these universal light codes, watching now as your wish is granted by the angels, and they set in motion an outpouring of these brightly charged rainbows and drive them deep into the core of Mother's belly. Can you see them? Mother Earth is nourishing and renewing herself until these vibrant rainbows explode and burst within her. These magnificent color codes enveloping her oceans, the sky, her beloved animals, and targets any of her brothers and sisters who require healing but don't know how to do it for themselves. And look, Mother Gaia and everything within her grasp is completely surrounded and engulfed in endless rainbows. These striking colors glistening brightly on all those it touches. And Mother now reciprocates your generous gift by reaching up and wrapping her golden roots around your feet and legs and cinching you securely up against her belly. Her endearing gratitude making you feel whole, at peace, and utterly grounded at this time. And now with your emotional, mental, and physical well-being perfectly in sync with Source and these higher frequencies, set intentions now that any helpers and healers of the light that can assist you with your little you meditation to please step forward at this time. Ask them to surround and aid you in your search for a greater understanding of what your little you shows you and speaks to you about today. That they help you stay present and hold the space and energy of what your little you needs to teach you and advise you. And that these helpers and healers keep you safe and protected while doing so. Please take a moment to give thanks to all of these angelic and galactic beings as they impart their guidance, love, and safety to you at this time. Notice how you feel charged. You feel grounded. Good. That's how you're supposed to feel. And now encourage this electricity to penetrate and surge itself through your entire being as the best, most elite security team in the whole universe activates and engages itself around you. And so with that, it's time to tap into the energy of a little you. And so ask now that a younger version of you that wants to see and speak to you for the purposes of what you need in this meditation to please step forward. Once you feel him, Thank Him for coming and ask that He takes you to a place that makes Him feel safe and happy, placing no judgment or attachment on where He takes you. And once you have arrived, look Him in the eyes and say, "Thank you. This is perfect. Dad is so happy you took me here." And now listening to Him fully and giving Him all the space and time He needs to express Himself. Ask your little you, why were you the one that came to see me here today? What does He say? After thanking Him, ask Him, why did you want to take me here? Why is this place important to you? Thank Him very much for sharing that with you. And now see if He will come and sit on your lap. And as you attentively look into His eyes, express to Him, Dad has come here to spend some quality time with you today because I want to see how you've been feeling lately and if there's anything that you'd like to talk to me about. I'm doing this because Dad is in the process of learning how important it is to take care of myself, to take the time to slow down and become more present. And when I don't do this for myself, I see how it affects me and you and all those around us. And so forgive me, my boy, if I've ignored any of your calls for my attention. I promise I'm going to do better for us moving forward. And that's exactly why I'm here with you right now. Because you're important. And I value our time together and what you have to say. And so if it's all right with you, I'd like to ask you some questions. And so tell Dad, how are you feeling right now? And now listen to him wholeheartedly. If he lets you, rub his back, pet his hair, and always look deep into his eyes. You're now keeping this loving gaze. Say the following, dear sweet little you. Daddy loves spending time with you because I get to remember and tell you how special and smart you are, how handsome you are inside and out, and how incredibly proud I am of you. You are so good. You're so kind. And you're so smart, in fact, that I want to ask you some more questions. But let's talk about you, little one. I want to ask you, what is something Dad can do better for you that will make you feel more safe? After thanking him, ask, is there anything that you've been feeling lately that you'd like to talk to me about? And then listen intently. do differently? Say thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. Dad is also in the process of knowing when I need to take better care of myself. Can you please show or tell me something that could help with that? Thank you. Your advice and wisdom is well beyond your years, and you are impressing me so much. And now tell him, Dad knows the importance of your truth, your insight, the value of sharing with you, and how these messages from you are greatly helping me to learn and grow and to become stronger, so any guilt no longer follows me. So my walls are finally free to come down. So the trust we build together is pure, it's right, and it's worthy of my love for you. And so advise and tell Daddy, what do I need to remember more of? And now holding your hand over his heart, speak these words to him. Daddy loves you. You inspire me so much to keep raising my vibration, to remember the importance of staying connected to Source, to myself, and all of my little yous, and of always staying present in the power of the here and now. And Dad is actively learning how to feel my way through my emotions, because I know I have the power and knowledge to manage and control my responses. And I can trust love and spirit to always be my guiding force. I'm also learning how to sit and feel what you need me to, so I can experience the lessons I need to, so that together we can grow, learn, and all be at peace with one another, united, forged together in our healing love for one another. And now take this time and ask your little one, are there any last messages and feelings that you would like to say or show me before I go? You will now have a minute to just sit and listen as he imparts his final pearls of wisdom and insights for you. final prayer and bless him with the following words. Thank you for being a part of my life and for coming to see me here today. I've learned so much from you, and I treasure all of this time I spent with you. I love you, now and forever, little one. And so we are healed. Now please give thanks to all of the loving masters and teachers that assisted in your healing with your little you today. Please thank Mother Gaia for keeping you grounded and centered in your new learnings. And most of all, your little you for being such a wise guide and teacher for you here today. And now, brothers, activate a sphere of white light all around you and ask that your angelic team protect and shield you with their wings from any people, places, or things that are not for your best and highest good. In this we both pray and ask, and so it is. And now begin to wiggle your hands and your feet, moving your head from side to side. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back, brothers. We hope you enjoyed that. Grab your pens. You will serve yourself the best, documenting as much as you can of this. Please do so. And we're going to take you back to the rooms. Welcome back, family. Okay, document as much as you can. Put down what impacted you, as much as you can remember. Okay, brothers and sisters, you're going to have a lot that comes in. There's going to be the initial flood of messages. That's why we say write them down as quickly as you can, because it is very much like a dream. And as long as the more you can stay in the space of where you are right now, the more that's going to come in. And a lot of your messages you get after your meditation. Understand that. And please, after this recording is done, please put your feels on Elemental. We have 250 some members. There's probably like 10 that show up. So start putting investments and energy into what you're learning, because we have to wake these ones out of their slumber, out of their deep sleeps. And we're only going to do this by letting them see light codes. And these codes, these beaming pillars of light, are all of you. So thank you for showing up, for doing this meditation, for getting this massive download. Be clear, we are aware who is here. For you to show up live for this class, you have to be of a certain caliber and vibration. Well done, family. Just so you know, there's lots more coming. We're going to talk about certain topics that come up in your meditations that are very common for men and women. And then we're going to give you some questions that you can go and ask to be able to get to the bottom of it, so you can start bridging your bridges and get to where you want to go. We love you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being brave. Oh, family, if I could just wrap my wings around all of you, I would right now. We're making huge progress. I know there's only a few of us. We only need a few. Remember that. Everyone's stuck in the daze and confusion of the system. You're waking up. And this is why it only takes a few to make miracles happen. And to make miracles happen, we got to get to 5D. All right. We love you. We'll see you next time.